Are you planning on starting a new garden this spring? What type of garden do you want to start? Is it a garden to please eyes, or a garden to grow some vegetables to save money? Well, I like to talk about growing food, growing some of your own vegetables so that you can save money and eat healthier. So if you are planning of starting a new garden in spring and you have lawn where you are going to grow your food, well, you can start gardening without tilling. So it all depends on what you are trying to achieve. But if you are scared of gardening because it takes time to take care of a garden, or it takes time to start one, or it takes time to till the ground every spring, yeah, well, I can tell you how you can garden even if you have a busy schedule. If you have a lawn where you want to garden this spring, you have to first ask yourself, what do you want to grow? Well, you can garden without tilling the ground, without removing the soil. If you like potato, I will suggest you grow some potatoes. So if you want to grow potatoes, what you'll do is, you first need to find out from the city if they deliver wood chips. If they do, in spring you might ask them to drop some on your driveway and you just haul it to your back. Yeah, if that's where you want to grow your food. If they don't, they might tell you where they drop it so that you can go get some. That's one way of doing it. But if you don't have a truck or you don't think you'll be able to haul some wood chips home, yeah, well, you can go the paid version, which will be to buy some hay. So if you go on Craigslist and look for hay, you'll be able to see some farmers that will supply you hay. Sometimes they may even deliver for a small fee. So that will be one way of doing it as well. So early in spring, you may not even need to mow your lawn. You can lay the wood chips down, and you might want to start small until you are very comfortable gardening, if that's your first time. So you might lay the wood chips down, just cover the lawn, and there's not much of inches that I would advise, but just make sure the lawn is under the wood chips or cover with the hay. Just the hay is easier to spread. That's the good thing of that, but it costs money. So you can just spread the hay and just spread it all around to cover the grass completely. So you get your seeds, your potato seeds. And for potato, if you want to grow potato, I might do another video to talk about those type of seeds. But there is not much you can do about that. I know there is a lot of rules about how to prep the potatoes before you start growing it. But personally, I don't do anything to my potatoes. I plant them whole so that the new plants can feed on the whole potato and grow more. So you just pull the wood chips apart. Not the whole wood chips, just where you want to put your potato, you just move the wood chips out of there with a little shovel, and then just put your potato in it and cover it. Or if that's the hay, you just move the hay a little bit and put the potato on the grass and just move the wood chips or the hay back on it. And potato, you can do it 1 foot up, 1 foot apart, and that's the potato. If you like peas and you want to start with peas, like sweet peas for example, well, lay your wood chips or your hay down and just dig to make a little hole in the grass and just put your seed in it and cover. But make sure you don't cover with all the wood chips you move or all the hay that you move out. Just cover with a little bit until the seeds start growing, until you have the sprouts, and then you move more around it. That will be one way of doing it. In summer, what else can you plant in spring? You can plant onion bulbs. Onion bulbs, you just move them around and plant. So those big seeds and bulbs, you can plant them raw in your wood chips. But you cannot plant small seeds. They'll get buried in it. So if you want to go seeds raw, if you want to plant seeds, you have to start it first indoor or in a bar and then plant the plant, or you might want to purchase a plant to plant. So if you want to plant a plant, you will remove the wood chips or the hay, make a little hole, put the plant in the hole and just cover with the wood chips or the hay. Just cover all the way to the plants so that there is no light going to the lawn. The things are covering the lawn or the lawn with wood chips or hay is when there is no sun on the grass. That will die down over time, and usually it just takes about a month. After a month, when you move your wood chips or you move the hay from one side of your garden, you will see that the grass will start to break down. So that's a nitrogen source for the organism in your soil, and they will feed on that to have enough energy to break down your wood chips or your hay. The wood chips and the hay or the foliage are carbon source for those organisms, and the green matters are the nitrogen source for them. So they will feed on those green matters so that they have enough energy to break down the carbon source, the brown matters. So that's how you can start your garden easily without tilling, and I have done a few times. Last year I started a new garden, not a small one, a huge one in my opinion, and it was a grassy area. I didn't have wood chips. I asked, they didn't deliver. So what I did is we have boxes. We purchase things and we have boxes, so we just open the box and lay it flat on the ground, and then I use some nails that I gather, just lay them down, not the envelope or plastic, just the papers, just lay them down, and the area that I put it, the grass broke down underneath it as well. And then I ordered some hay that the farmer delivered, and I spread it around. After a month, yeah, it was just the grass started breaking down underneath it. But then as soon as I lay down the hay, I moved some of them to plant some of my plants because I wanted to propagate it. I wanted to propagate some plants that I dug from my garden. Yeah, it was easy for me to just move the hay and then put those plants down and cover it. But to plant those plants, I dig a little bit in the grass though. So that's how I did it. But when you are starting it like that, sometimes the grass might be hard to dig in. But yeah, I even tried to remove the soil in some area of the garden, and I was not successful. And I thought, yeah, maybe we can just start. We should mow the garden, the lawn a little bit down and just cover it with the hay. So if you ask, and I started in summer. So if you are starting in summer, that's how you will do it. You will mow your grass, and then you'll add the wood chips on top or the hay on top. So if you want to grow summer crop like green beans, potato, tomatoes, squash, cucumber, well, in spring, lay wood chips and hay on your grass. By summer, because it takes about a month for those things to break down, by summer, you will have your garden very moist. Barely, you might see some grass, or you may not see it at all because they'll all break down by then, but the ground will be so soft for you, and you can just dig around. You won't even have to remove all the hay or anything. You just dig and plant your green beans, your squash seeds, your cucumber seeds. Those are big seeds. They will grow through it very quickly. But tomato, you have to start indoor, or you have to buy the plants, as well as pepper. You start indoors, or you buy the plants and you plant them. You just easily put the plants in and cover. It'll be so easy. But if you want to start something in spring, Those will be peas, onion bulb, potatoes. You can plant them the same day you lay your wood chips or your hay down as well. And by summer, by the end of spring, your garden will be ready for you to plant your summer crop. In fall, cover your garden with fall leaves. So if you are going to garden, try not to spray your lawn, so that in fall you can gather those fall leaves and just mulch your garden with your fall leaves. Mulching your garden will keep the moisture in the ground, allowing you not to water often or not to water at all, because I don't even water my garden. When I start the new garden in summer, the ground was so hard, but after laying down the cupboard in some area of the garden, then I got the hay and I laid down in most places of the garden. Even though I didn't have enough to cover the whole garden, lay what I could. After a month, when I wanted to plant strawberries and some seeds, well, the ground was so soft. It was easy for me to just dig and plant whatever I wanted to plant. So that's how you start a new garden on a lawn without tilling. Just lay your grass, break it down in the same spot without bothering the organism in the ground. Feed your ground so that your ground can feed you. And I think that's all I wanted to talk about. And one thing I like to say as well, if you want to start a new garden, I will put a description or links below in the description about places that I have purchased or I purchased my seed from, so that it can give you an idea. But also, if you are going to plant tomato and you don't want to start indoor, I would suggest you go to your local nursery to purchase some plants there, but try to buy heirloom so that you will be able to save the seeds. If you buy hybrid, you won't be able to save that seed to replant. But if you are going to grow tomato every year, it'll be good to buy some heirloom so that you can harvest the seed and save some seeds. Saving seed from tomato is very easy. Depending on your area, you may not be able to save seed from pepper, but you'll be able to save seed from tomato. In my area, which is zone 5A, pepper doesn't even do well in my garden to start with my garden style. And when they grow, when I have peppers, they don't ripe. So I won't be able to save seed from pepper, but I save seeds from zucchini, from cucumber, from tomatoes and other plants as well. So that's how you can start a new garden in spring to save some money by growing your own organic vegetables. Thank you for watching. I'm Afiavi Ojune Marie-Ninette Liberman, creator of Marie-Ninette Liberman's YouTube channel and owners of Nina Soap. And my website is ninasoap.com.